And welcome to today's stream. Really special one today. Gonna be with you pretty soon. Okay, let me just set this. All right. Pretty special one. We're gonna do a transfer flight of this nice MB-339er. I managed finally to set up some auxiliary fuel tank on the plane. As you can see, we are fully configured today. So basically what you have to do, I guess this is different from 2020, because in 2020 you just set up a weight high enough to make the auxiliary fuel tank appear, which is this one in this case. And on the contrary here, you really have to be precise. For example, this one, now I have the ferry. Oops, look at my guy crunch. I have the ferry version of the 339er. So we do have auxiliary fuel tank on the wingtips. But yeah, I wanted to add also the additional one, which are there. Yeah, in this case, you have to set up 68 kg. And then you are able to fully load them. All right, so what we're gonna do today is very special. Very also technical, honestly. Well, not too much, but yeah. So let me show you this. So we're gonna fly from. Wait a sec. Okay. We're gonna fly from Rivolto, which is the base of Le Frecce Tricolore. If you don't know, we're gonna simulate a ferry flight for an air show they will do in Avignon, which is here. So we're gonna cross Alp. So, first thing first, this plane does have GPS. You can go on board in the meantime. As you can see here, oh wow. Okay, this is a unit from the military version, which honestly I can remove, I don't care. So yeah, this plane does have a GPS, it's right here. It's not really working on the plane. I guess if you load a flight plan from the menu, so if you use the flight planner from Flight Simulator itself, it's gonna work. But yeah, then you can set up here flight director, radio nav, or yeah, probably radio nav and air nav here, and you're gonna have an indication of your flight plan in the GPS. But yeah, it's a very, very basic way to use it. It's not realistic. So what we're gonna do today instead is use the nice VOR navigation. So we're gonna do a VOR to VOR flight. How do you plan a VOR to VOR flight? Well, basically it's quite easy. You have to find VOR on your path, close enough, and select them. I mean, that's just it. But you have an helper, which is SimBrief again. What you can do here on SimBrief about VOR to VOR. So in this case, we don't have the 339er, of course, on the model, but we don't care. I select the on-the-jet just as a reference. We're not gonna really schedule a flight plan, but actually maybe you don't know, but okay, let me do sound checks. Okay, maybe you don't know, but you do have the possibility to use SimBrief to schedule VOR to VOR flight. So when you load a normal flight, as you can see, I select to airport, it gives me a route. You can go here, route calculator beta, and if you open it, okay, cancel here. So if you now open it, you can select on algorithm, legacy VOR, and then you can input an altitude, which is already correct. So 310, calculate route. Okay, wow, you can also avoid, wow, it's very cool. Okay. Why it's not showing it, I don't know. Okay, it's not showing it. I don't know why we do have this green stuff, but whatever. And now, as you saw, you do have some VOR. You have three in particular. This is a 386 miles long flight. We have three VOR planned. Yeah. So this should work in real life. Of course, you can't use SimBrief to plan it in real life. I don't think it's needed to mention it, but wait a sec. Okay, let me do one thing on my phone. Yeah, this is obvious, of course. But yeah, the point is that in flight simulator, sometimes VR signal is not really realistic. In particular, I'm kind of worried about the Avignon VR, which I don't even know if it's actually working, to be honest. So let's assume it's fine. Let's consider them for now. So we will have the VR in Venice, which is here. There we go. Then we will have Voghera VR, which is a very famous VR on North Italy, used for Milano approaches and stuff like that, which is here. There we go. And then we have Avignon VR, which is right here. Okay. So the point is very basic. This is how they fly in the past, how they flew in the past. So you go from one point to another, and this thing here should guarantee you, considering your cruise altitude of flight level 310 today, for example, should be guarantee you to have coverage all the way down to your destination. Coverage means that when you lose the signal of the previous VR, you're gonna have the signal of the next VR. I don't know if this is gonna work, honestly, today. Also, we're gonna cruise a very interesting area of Italy here. Super cool, this Alps area. So it's gonna be very interesting flight. But we need some alternatives. So if we don't have Avignon, we're gonna use probably Nice here. I'm gonna improvise, of course. I will have the GPS in my Navigraph as well. But yeah, we have Marseille. We have some Marseille VR probably. I will see when we get there. How does it work? Very simple. You have a VR instrument, which is this one. You have radial here, and you have also the direction of the VR. So if you're flying inbound, means toward the VR, you just follow. You have a radial, of course, for example, here 220 degrees, but we don't really care when we are inbound because, yeah, we're just gonna follow the main direction of the straight direction to the VR. And of course, if you do match the radial, now it's off, of course, with the main direction, with the straight direction again of the VR, this will be completely aligned, of course, because you are going toward it. Will be more important when we don't have the signal, so leaving the VR, so in an outbound course, to maintain, in this case, for example, 255 until we have the next VR. So if we maintain 255 until 148 nautical miles, which probably we're going to lose signal, but anyway, we will be above Voghera VR. And you can find every point on ground with this technique. For example, I don't know, I'm going to do this. If you want to go to this airport here, Carpi, sorry. From Venice VR, radial 235, 76 nautical miles, and you will be above it. So yeah, this is how it works basically. Okay. So we do have 3 VR today. You can do a nav log, which is very, very helpful because you're gonna have your free frequency there. This plane doesn't have a double VR. It does have a TACAN, which is okay. It's not the same thing, but it's kind of similar philosophy. It's very similar philosophy actually. This code here, 01 X-ray, and then you can change them, of course. This code here can be changed, can be converted on VR frequency. So you technically you could use both, but yeah, we're not gonna do it today. We're not gonna use the TACAN. Okay, will be a completely manual flight, no autopilot in this plane. Really hard to trim on top of that. We're gonna try to do it as realistic as possible, as if we were online on VATSIM, even if we are not. Okay, so we should maintain flight level 310. We should climb with some sense. We're gonna climb very fast anyway with this plane, of course. Yeah, so this is the plan. At our departure, we have wind is calm, so we're gonna use running 06, makes a left pattern circuit, start climbing and intercept the most convenient radial to Venice VOR. Into Avignon. Let's see how is the weather there. Classical strong wind in Avignon. This is gonna be very interesting. Running 35, of course. We're gonna do probably a right pattern circuit here. Sorry, not what the fuck. It's gonna be a left pattern circuit as well. Left traffic pattern. And yeah, to land. Very interesting weather. 22 knots, gust 36. Okay, it's a short runway, but we have space enough to do it. All right, QNH 1019er. Yeah, let's jump into the plane. This is our plane, fully configured for a ferry flight. Let's go. Also because the sun is setting, we're going toward east, so that's gonna help us. But yeah, sorry, we're going toward west. All right. Can I? Okay, let's go. I'm gonna use inboard checklist. Let's give a check to the. Okay, we're gonna check the fuel later when we start loading it. Okay. All right. So battery on. Generator on. This is fine. GPR on. GPS. Let's turn it on even if it doesn't work. Okay. Radio on. 1 and 2. And check. Okay. Fuel shut off. Il servo. Beacon lights, and I'm gonna turn on also nav lights and beacon lights, both on. Okay. So let's give a check to the fuel. We do have, here is fully loaded. We do have auxiliary. Actually, I don't remember how to check auxiliary fuel tank, but yeah, it's here. Apologize. Okay, this is tips. Oh boy. I think this is the, yeah, because it's 700. Okay, 700 kilos on the wings. Then 250, 500, 100, sorry, 1,300, and then I guess, okay, it's 1,000 kilos on the auxiliary fuel tank, plus 650. Okay, it does match more or less. So this is the total. Nice. Okay. Good. Engine master on. I should have done this. Okay. Wait a sec. Okay. Engine master on and engine start 10% fueling. Fueling. Have the canopy open. Okay, let's close it. So I want to set up some different views from which here. Okay. Okay, I want this to be the views number 5, number 4, number 6, and number 7. Okay. I'm gonna lower the volume of the sim now. Alright. Then flaps up. Flaps up. Set. Speed braking. It's already in. Oxygen diluer on. Before taxi. Okay. Yeah, it's just land. Oops. I hope I didn't do anything wrong with that. Taxi lights on. So we're gonna go to the, wait a sec, the runway is, should be this way, yeah, it's right there. Volante is working, yeah, let's go. Anti-skid on. 1228 even if we're not aligned on VATSIM, but again we're gonna simulate as we are. Very heavy today. We are fully loaded. We have 2 passengers and yeah, all the auxiliary fuel tanks set up on our wing. Look at there. Completely loaded by fuel. Alright, now I'm gonna have to go to the toilet because again, no autopilot. So it's the last occasion, and from here I'm gonna have no other possibility. So I'm gonna let you with the plane here. I'm gonna be right back. Alright. Okay, we're good to go. I forgot to set up the VOR. So the first frequency will be we should have radial here, right? Yeah. But anyway, I'm gonna check in the other. But will be 115.3. So technically we should receive it immediately, 115. Not really on ground, of course, but yeah, as soon as we take off. VOR here, we're not receiving it, okay, at the moment. I'm gonna set up a radio nav on the flight director. Wow, we do have oh wow, this is very interesting. So as soon as we got to the desired altitude, we can engage altitude holding. That's cool. And radial 222. Okay, 222 set, and I'm gonna set up also the heading 222. Okay, let's go. Before takeoff, checklist. Canopy is closed. Flaps set for takeoff. And set. Okay. So, landing lights. Let's go. Pitot, it's on. So what we're gonna do is basically okay, let me open Navigraph as well. So we're gonna basically accelerate. We are very heavy today, so around I guess 1000 knots at least. We're gonna start pushing very gently on our stick, and we should be airborne around 120 knots, something like that. Okay. All right. Let's go. No steer wheel off. Brake release. Takeoff power. a bit of wind. Okay, start pulling a bit. We are airborne. Gear up. Flaps up. Left turn. Wow. And we're not receiving the VR. Okay, we're gonna follow an heading for now. Yeah, of course we are very low. Our receiving VR scheduling is based on the on flight level 310, so now we're very low, of course. But yeah, we're gonna just follow the heading 222 for now. Okay, well, now we're gonna maintain 200 knots and climb. Alright. Bit of trim up. And I guess we are receiving it. Yeah. We are receiving the VR. 36 miles. Nice. Okay, now I want to climb faster than this for sure. Lower the volume. For me at least a little bit. Okay. I want to set up some internal lights. While the plane is turning. Okay, should be fine like this. Well, the plane tends to turn to the right. That's very interesting. If I let it go, look at this. It's a little bit weird, to be honest. Let me see if we are burning fuel properly. Okay. Oh wow. We're just burning on the left wingtip. That's very strange. I don't know if it's modeled properly. Oh yeah, that's why for sure. Yeah, we're... Oh, look at this. So, tip left is 200 kilos. Right is... Okay, it's just the left tip actually. Which is kind of strange, to be honest. Let me see something. Okay, this is very annoying. According to... Yeah, there's a difference here. Wait a sec. Let me do this manually. Otherwise it's gonna do this all the time. Okay, now should be fine. Alright. Yeah, let's go. I don't know what happened. But anyway, let's recover everything. Cloudy day as well. Alright. 1013. Standard pressure, we're already at 50,000 feet. Let's go direct to the VR, of course. Okay. Alright. And now it's just about climb for the moment. Look at that. It's very cool. So I guess we are consuming initially just yeah, on the wing. I mean, fuel from the wing. Volanta, okay. So full power for the climb. For the cruise, we're gonna set up around 90% of power. This plane wants a lot of power to do a proper cruise. Let me see something. Okay, let me go back because trim up. Okay, new meter. Okay, okay. Yeah, I wanted to check that. So we are 22 miles from the VR, the first VR. Pretty close already. It's like external view. Look at this. Oh, we have landing lights. Look at this. Ferry configuration. You can search online. I found a photo before of Le Frecce Tricolori doing ferry. You're gonna see this configuration. And that's very different, of course, because when they do shows, they have additional fuel tank right here. I guess with this configuration, the plane is way more stable and way less acrobatic, of course. Okay, 70 miles. Outbound course will be 255. I'm gonna set up it already. 255. This will be our outbound, and for the moment I'm just gonna follow the VR direction. So let's switch to heading. Okay. Not really using the flight director, but yeah, it's a reference, of course. Fuel, we're doing fine. Look at this. Of course they do formation flight, but this is how they do the ferry. Not again, I don't think they use, I mean they do VR to VR procedure. I think they just use the GPS. But yeah, it's kind of similar to what we are doing. So typical cruise is around, I read online, 28,000 feet, 30,000 feet. We're gonna cruise 31,000 feet today. A little bit higher, but yeah, it's fine. Okay, let's correct a bit. So soon we're gonna be over Venice. It's super cloudy here, unfortunately. And then we're gonna pointing toward Alps. I mean, not really Alps, and we're gonna point west, and we're gonna meet Alps at some point. Okay. Look at this. Look at Alps. There we have them. Okay, now we're pretty close to the VR, just 6 miles. It's gonna be quite challenging to maintain the radial, so we're just gonna keep this heading now. You will see the VR switching off. When you are over a VR, you're gonna lose the signal. As soon as it does this, we're gonna point heading 255, which it does match with our next course. Okay, 5 miles. Now we are basically over it. Now you will see here the VR switching off. Maybe not, that's strange to be honest. I'm gonna start turning, by the way. Okay, now it's off, as you saw. And soon it will be back on. And let's go radial now again. And it's back on. So now we will maintain an outbound course. We have to be way more precise, of course, than inbound. So let's fly like this for the moment. So when this segment here match your arrow, it means that you are sync, basically you are into the radial. Otherwise you are a little bit to the left, as we are now, right now, or to the right. But for now I just wanna make some distance to the VR. And now we can start intercepting. With a very low angle. We don't want to overshoot or anything. Of course, you have also to consider wind, which we didn't check at all, but whatever. If you have a lot of crosswind, of course, you will have to have offset heading to maintain a radial. That's obvious. Let's give an external view of the plane. Look at this, how beautiful it is. This is Venice, by the way. Venice Island. Okay. So I'm gonna insist a little bit. We are almost at 31,000 feet, which is our cruise altitude. As always, if you have any question, feel free to ask. Be ready to set up altitude hold. And okay, still a couple of feet to go. Okay. Wow. You saw it? I guess there was a weather update. I see the... Okay, 3, 2, 1. Altitude hold. Oops. Okay. So now reducing power, 90%. 90% set. Power set. Little more. Okay. And we are officially in cruise. And now we will start this work of trim and trim and trim. Super hard on this plane. This is something where we're flying. Okay. But yeah, it's just about trim from now. And next radial. So, next frequency will be 110.45. Alright. We are still not into the proper radial. So we're gonna set up by heading west now. West set, we are getting altitude. So now we will have to try to maintain as much as possible the altitude. This again is not easy at all with this plane here. Okay. So 22 miles still. We can give a try. Let's think the... Okay, let's intercept the radial before. And then we can try to see if we are receiving the other VR. Okay, let's trim. We're climbing. We don't want to climb. Again, we are trying to assume that we are on line on Batsi, so we have to really be precise with the altitude. And as you know, as much as the plane accelerates, it will start also climbing, so you have to continually set up a little bit of trim down until you gain some stability. Okay. Now we are intercepting the radial, as you can see. Okay, let's intercept again the radial. Okay, we don't want to climb. A little bit of nose down still. We overshoot 100 feet. Let's try to get back to to fly level 310. All right. Very slowly we are getting back into the radial. We are just 30 miles outbound now. Okay, we should cover 148. Okay. Okay, we are climbing again. Trim down a bit. I see the Lake of Garda. Super reactive the plane, and we are still climbing. Nose down. And let's help it. As you can see, super hard to trim. And this is realistic. I mean, I saw a real pilot of this plane saying that it's very, very hard to trim. Also in real life. Okay, since some fuel consumption, I don't understand from which fuel tank we are burning it actually, but whatever. We will discover it. So honestly, at this point, even if we are not really into the radial, I want to check if we are receiving the next VOR. So frequency is 110.45. Okay, let's try. 110.45. Are we receiving Voghera? No. Okay. 115.30. Let's go back there. Let's go back to Venice VR. Of course, with 2 VR or using the Takan as a second VR, you can just click here. You can set up, for example, the next VR in Takan code and the current in VR, which we lost. 115.3. 115.3. Wow. Okay. So at the moment, we are in a situation that yeah, we don't have any of the VR we scheduled to receive, but yeah, no worries. I'll just keep the heading now, and 11045. 11045, and I guess pretty soon we're gonna start receiving the Voghera VR. You are set here. Okay. Let's see. So now, of course, I mean, we are not in the middle of the ocean. This situation would be called, I guess, dead reckoning in the middle of the ocean, where you don't have basically references. So you're not receiving signal of instrument on your next, let's say, area you're going, and you're not receiving signal from the area you just left. Okay, we are losing altitude now. Little, ooh, very gentle. So in this case, of course, we have other VR on ground if we need to, but let's just follow this heading for the moment, and I'm pretty sure that we're gonna receive the Voghera VR pretty soon. I don't know if I messed up something. I don't think so. Should be working properly. 11045. We can give a try. I'm gonna give a try if the VR is actually working. Tuning 113.4, which is Vicenza VR. 113.4. Okay. Alright, yeah. We do have a signal, so we are just not receiving it for the moment. And this is a bit of a problem, I mean, in MSFS, for what I read. Yeah. VR signal, it's generally a little bit weaker than real life. Especially in real life, you have, I mean, in the VR is also reported the length of the signal, because not every VR is identical, of course. You have some VR that can push at 100 nautical miles, other just 30, for example. Yeah, it really depends. We're doing pretty We're doing pretty fine with the altitude, though. We have Appennini here, and we have Alps here. This is the Lake of Garda, of course. Yeah, I remind you we're going from Rivolto, which is the air base of the Le Frecce Tricolori. And we're going to Avignon, France. We are doing a VR to VR flight today. No autopilot. And we are flying this nice 339er in ferry configuration, as you can see here, from the auxiliary fuel tank position. Okay. No signal still. Alright. Let's continue to follow this heading. Let's correct a bit. As soon as we receive it, we're just gonna go direct. So in VATSIM, this situation, I mean, of course, we would end up being a little bit off course. Yeah, it's definitely not the best. I'm quite kind of surprised that we're not receiving Venice anymore. Should be quite powerful VR, that one. But yeah, in my experience, scheduling VR flight with SimBrief, I mean, SimBrief is a little bit too optimistic. So he just give you a couple of VR for a flight for like today of 400 nautical miles, and that's it. Initially, I mean, when I did this stuff in the first period, I wasn't really using it. I was scheduling by myself, giving me more VR on the puff. But yeah, whatever. So yeah, definitely if we want to try a flight like this on Vatsim, we need to consider it for sure. Look at this. That's super cool. I love to do this kind of flight. It's incredible to be like here in a small cockpit at liner's altitude, at liner speed. I mean, not really. We are doing Mach point. Yeah, it's pretty slow, this plane on cruise. Mach point 61, something like that. And I assume that we have a nice tailwind, honestly, because we are doing ground at 603 knots. Still no signal. It starts to surprise me a little bit. We're still far from Voghera. I can see from Navigraph we are going basically toward there, but yeah, it would be very interesting then with the Avignon VR, which I really doubt. I don't even know if it's actually working, because in the past I had some problem. It's not the first time I do this stuff here on this airport, of course, Avignon, and I for what I remember, there was some problem with it. So we will see. But again, in case we can just go toward the coastline, follow the coastline. We have, of course, again, other VR. We can set up some VR in Marseille, stuff like that. But yeah, let's see. I don't know if they removed Avignon. I mean, it's still on Navigraph, right? Yeah, it's on Navigraph. Let me try to see if I can get some information. Avignon VR, high altitude. Okay. Okay, should be working according to Navigraph. We should be updated to real life, so yeah, I'm kind of trusting it. Let me see Voghera VR. So Voghera VR is a high altitude, range or power. So yeah, we should receiving it pretty soon, I guess. Yeah. Look at this river here. An airport. We are close to Bologna. No, oh no, we're already. No, we're. Yeah. It's kind of there, Bologna. Yeah, we're already going towards France at this point. Not really, I mean, of course. We are going toward Genova, if you know. Genova, this airport below us is Parma. And this is the city of Parma. Wow, I'm kind of surprised how it's maintaining the altitude. I can guarantee you, in 2020, this plane is way harder to trim. So I can definitely see, you know, one of the problems of 2020 was that the air doesn't really feel like a fluid. Especially with some plane. Here, I can tell you now that I'm seeing a big difference on the fluid dynamic, to be honest. We look at the altitude change. So yeah, it's way easier to trim. Of course, now I'm climbing a bit because yeah, there was a weather update probably. But yeah, incredible difference, to be honest. Oh yeah, of course, you know, 2024, the planes, especially the same plane from a sim to another, does feel that is flying. I mean, it's not that in 2020 you are flying in a vacuum or anything, but in 2024 you definitely feel that you are flying in a fluid. I mean, at least way more than 2020. Of course, then there are planes that does it better, as the A2A Piper PA24. The Phoenix, of course. But yeah, definitely good feeling here on trimming the plane. Probably also way too easier. Still not receiving the VR, by the way. And we are getting outbound, of course, at this point. I can see from Navigraph. Yeah, we are a bit outbound indeed. Let's follow the heading. Sorry, we are a bit off heading. So yeah, this will be definitely a problem on Vatsim because we are out course quite a lot at this point. Nothing crazy, of course. But for a VATSIM 11, it's quite a lot for sure. Still not receiving 114.5, 114.5 confirmed. Yeah, this is definitely not simulated properly. It's kind of impossible that we're not receiving Voghera from here. We are, yeah, we're almost at Piacenza, which is pretty close to Voghera. so yeah. Whatever. As soon as we receive it, we're gonna go toward the VR, of course, and then be ready to cross Alps. So I'm gonna maintain Voghera VR and as much as I can on the outbound course. Yeah, then we'll see, because we will be above Alps then. It's gonna be a pretty interesting Alps area. There is this mountain called Monviso in the extreme west of Alps, Italy side, of course. It's a pretty cool mountain. We will see how it's shown. It's pretty high, pretty epic. Trim down just a bit. And as always, if you have any question, feel free to ask. Still not receiving it. Wow. That's kind of surprise. I mean, surprising to me. Yeah, we're very outbound at this point. Sorry, not outbound. We're very out of course now. You will see. And we are very close. But yeah, again, I'm trying to simulate it as we were in real life. But well, in real life, okay, we are receiving it. As you can see, we should have found the VR in front of us, and look where is basically 30 degrees out, something like that. So let's go immediately inbound the VR now. So we're gonna have to do a nice turn. Okay, let's go. Alright, I don't want to exaggerate on the turn because I'm gonna lose altitude. Okay, let's go directly on the VOR now. Yeah, we're very out course. Okay. There we go. Alright. Let's sync the course. Okay, and let's sync the heading. Alright. So now we are inbound Voghera. Yeah, let me show you on Navigraph. Look at this. So Voghera is here. We were going like this. We should have gone like that. Yeah, that's quite some difference. Oops, the plane is turning by itself. I remind you, we don't have autopilot in this flight. It's all manual flight. Okay, let's try to maintain flight level 310 on a range of at least 100 feet up or down. You can, of course, in real life, especially against military plane, you can ask a range of altitude. Okay, let me see the fuel condition. So wingtip are still okay. We're consuming from this fuel tank here now. These two. Okay, we have way more fuel than needed, of course, but I mean, we don't pay it, so it's completely fine. We could fly, I guess. Yeah, probably around 900 nautical miles with this configuration that we have here. And we can see, you can see Alps right in front of us. So outbound course from Voghera will be 1901. Sorry, not 1901. This is the distance. 215. Okay. So we are 27 miles from Voghera. What? Extreme change on the ground speed. Wow. We lost 80 knots of ground speed. I'm wondering the wind at this point. Let me see something. Wow, I like my my shirt there. Okay, let me see something. Oh wow, we have crosswind. So yeah, now wow. So before we just had crosswind. That's also why. I mean, that's why also because we get pushed so out of course, and we are getting pushed still. Wow, extreme change on. We lose a little bit of altitude on top of that. Extreme crosswind. So in this case, of course, to maintain the radial, you have to give probably 10 to 15 degrees of heading. Of heading offset. Okay, we are almost at Voghera. Voghera will be 255, right? 251. Okay, wow, look at the plane. Get pushed by the wind. Yeah, we have very strong wind outside. What we're talking about? 105 knots. Wow, that's a lot of crosswind. That's why we lose. Wow, my ground speed is 287 knots now. Before was 405. We're gonna gain it back as soon as we turn, of course. We're gonna get back a lot of. Well, actually, we can just go direct to. There's no need to do this. But I'm gonna maintain this offset, of course. So Voghera, yeah, it's right here probably. We are leaving the Apennini now. We are 16 miles from it. We are pretty close. This is Milano area. Probably this. Yeah, then we're gonna go toward Cuneo. Ready to cross Alps again. Wow, incredible difference on ground speed. It would take forever at this speed. We're having here. Incredible. 40 miles. Yeah, it's gonna take a while to get there. Look at this. How cool is that? How cool is that? Yeah, the main difficulty of the plane is, of course, maintaining altitude and changing frequency, changing course, doing all the VR to VR stuff in a plane like this where you don't have autopilot. I mean, you're super active. You're not gonna get bored at all if you do this, at least, because yeah, you have to continuously and constantly fly in the plane. Okay. Ten miles. It's right below us. 10 miles, you have to consider also the altitude on the distance, so yeah. We are basically 10 kilometers from ground. I mean, a little less, of course. 8 kilometers. So we're gonna lose signal pretty soon, and in that case, I mean, I'm gonna already set up everything. So next course will be 251. As soon as we lose signal, we're gonna turn. Okay, and this time we're not gonna try to receive the next VR. We're just gonna keep this VR until we lose the signal. Now I'm gonna tell you, we have currently 294 knots of ground speed. We are keeping descending, which I don't like. A little bit of trim up. Of course, you can ask on VATSIM. You can ask a vector. I mean, you can tell the controller, "I'm not receiving the next VR." Can you give me a vector? Yeah, it's totally possible. Still inbound. Again, when we lose signal, you have to check this. Okay, Signal is lost. Let's go. Pull a bit. We don't want to lose altitude. Let's do the turn. Look at this. Wow. Look at the sea. Okay, don't get distracted. Ooh, look at how much altitude I'm losing as soon as I get distracted. Okay. Let's maintain this course now. Sorry, this heading for the moment. Let's get some distance from the VR. Okay. And now we gain, just with this turn here, we gain a nice 85, around 85 knots of ground speed, just doing this. So now we're fully crosswind. We're gonna have definitely to set up an offset heading to maintain that course, which we definitely want to do. We want to be precise now. Okay. So I'm setting an offset to go back to intercept it as well, because we're not perfectly on the radial now. And of course, as much as you are closer to the VOR, it's harder to maintain a radial. And on the opposite, the farther you go, the easier it will be. It's kind of too easy to imagine because it's a radial stuff. So if you're close to the VR, you have many other radial close to you. If you're very far from the VR, it's completely the opposite, of course. To jump to a radial, from a radial to another, we will need some space. We are losing altitude. I don't want to lose altitude. Okay, now we're back to intercept. Look at this offset. This is our current configuration. Look at the offset. Oh, we're not producing a contrail anymore? Wow. I'm wondering why. Okay. And as I told you, Alps is approaching us. Okay, let's sync the heading. Because when we lose signal, we want to have the reference. So now I will try to spot Monviso. Why the plane is turning right? Probably it's due to the crosswind we are having. And we are losing altitude. Okay. So we're still not into the radial, but it's fine. We're almost there. We are good like this. And this is the path we did. Look at this. We should have been here. Also due to the crosswind, look at this offset. Incredible. Wow, there would be a control in Avignon. Very interesting. So also, yeah, a hard part when you're doing transfer flight with military plane, especially like we did today, that we took off from a military airport, fully military airport, no commercial area, nothing like that. Rivolto is completely military. Basically, I guess the only thing the controller on VATSIM can do is ask you to do a VFR departure and a traffic pattern and call back after takeoff. We are getting higher and we don't want, so a little bit of trim down. Pretty close to up now. It's right in front of us. So this one here should be Mont Blanc, I guess. Yeah, this one should be Mont Blanc. On Monviso, I don't know if it's still not loaded, which can be the case. Or at the end of the day, we're not gonna pass that close. But I think we're gonna pass pretty close to it, to be honest. Maybe it's this. Yeah, I guess it's this one. Underloading still. Yeah, I guess it's that. We're climbing, we don't want to climb. 20 miles outbound. no, sorry, 30 miles outbound. It's a 200 miles jump from this to VR, which is kind of scary, to be honest. But we found our offset could be also a little bit more than this. Something like that, probably. Sync the heading. Okay, let me set up heading here. Alright. Okay, we're doing fine with the altitude now. Going back to flight level 310. Yeah, I guess the Monviso is dead. It's gonna be loaded soon. Yeah, still from the distance on MSFS, you don't have those nice peaks. Especially this one, this sharp peaks like Monviso is, that you have to be quite. I mean, you have to be quite close to see it properly. Look at those hills. All right. So this is Turin area. Should be here, right? No, I mean this should be Turin. Yeah. I guess it's here. This is Mont Blanc. I don't know why I'm saying it in French. It's Monte Bianco. Okay, we lost the signal. Nice. Not really nice, but so now we have to really maintain this heading here. I'm gonna immediately tune the other frequency, which is 114.6. The mysterious VOR. I don't know if we have that VOR on the scene. We will see. 114.6. Okay. 114.6. So yeah, this is definitely a problem. Again, if you want to go on VATSIM. So if you schedule with SimBrief, you're gonna have a lot of area of dead reckoning, let's go. You can of course avoid it by adding VOR. But yeah, this is the case. And also another difficult stuff to do. With the old VATSIM flight planner that you can trigger from vPilot was way easier, in my opinion. Yeah, schedule the flight, because you will need to indicate your instrument. You have code, I mean you can find a code for indicate the controller that your plane doesn't have GPS basically. So again, Monviso, I'm pretty sure it's that one right in front of us, still not loaded. Well, I don't see, I mean from there to here we should see a nice peak. And the highest thing I see is this one here, which is still not loaded. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be better. Pretty sure, because I already did again. I already flew in these areas in the sim. Look at this. No, control is actually just there. Look at the offset of the plane. Okay, we're gaining altitude. We don't want to gain altitude. A lot of crosswind, extreme crosswind actually here in northern Italy today. Let's see the meter of destination as well. Let's give a check. I mean, this website was way okay. Wind is reducing, still 18 knots. 10 to 1 cow. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're fine with the vertical speed, but we want to lose a little bit of altitude. Yeah, as you see, it's forming really gently, but it's forming. I'm pretty sure this is Monviso. And here you should have Cuneo somewhere. Which Cuneo in Italian means like... this is Cuneo Airport. Means like... It's not angle, but yeah, kind of that. It's like elbow. It's not elbow, of course, but... You can understand from the term elbow what Cuneo means. Oh, we are getting a lot of altitude. Not liking it. So now we're starting our Alps cross. Look at Monte Bianco there. White Mountain. The White Mountain. A bit of trim down. It's continuous climb, so. Alright, maintaining the heading we set up. We are not receiving any signal of the VOR we schedule. Again, I don't even know if it's present, the Avignon VOR. Okay, at this point, I mean, maybe it's just like that. I think it's higher in real life. I mean, I saw it in real life many times, but it's quite... Ooh, wow, we are climbing so much. Let's go down immediately. Strongly. Okay. Alright. Okay, let the plane stabilize. I think we still have too much trim up. I don't know, man. Should be this. Yeah, the plane really want to climb. Kind of struggling finding the proper configuration now. Probably we are losing weight. Of course, we are burning fuel. I have some. I don't know if I have it anymore. And I did some screenshot in the past. I was flying here with a Tecnam 2006. Yeah, but I guess it's ooh. Can go out of the plane here. I'm pretty sure it's this one. Yeah, it's this one. 100%. Oops. Yeah. This is Monviso, not the best model. As you know, Alps are not great in many areas, as we have Los Andes or, I don't know, Western North America. But this is Monviso. For sure. Epic mountain. Okay, let's correct a little bit. Okay, and in front of us we do have France. As soon as you see mountain starting lowering, that's France. Yeah, as you can see we have high text. Wow. It's pretty close to the ground, but yeah, this area is... Ooh, wow, that's very cool. Wow. It would be great to go down there to see. It's not really loading Monviso, unfortunately, but yeah, this is pretty cool actually. Not fully loaded, of course. Definitely better than my area. Wow. Wow, this is pretty cool. Yeah, we can do from Avignon, we can do a flight one day. Not in ferry configuration, but in acrobatic configuration. To Alps to see, or even closer. I mean, we can go to Cuneo and then enjoy here, do a little bit of stuff into the valley. Maybe we can do it with a military version of the plane. I want to generate a 339er military. Okay. In military livery, so basically it's trainer. Oh yeah, look at that. Ooh, wow, the plane keep getting out, of course. Okay, yeah, we can't stay here to check Monviso all the time, of course. Also because it's below our wing. So yeah, we are heading France now. Actually, we are almost into France. Basically, all you see in front of us is France already. We are almost above the border. So yeah, this is Italy, this is France. Okay. Okay, let's let the plane climb a bit. We lose altitude. checking around. So yeah, maybe we can generate a military plane, a military version of the plane, and come here to do some, yeah, maybe next week too. Wow, look at this Alps. I mean, I regret what I said before. Alps here are very, very good. Way better than my areas. Look at this stuff here. I'm wondering always to fly pretty low. Yeah, we should do a flight with a small plane as well. I want to do a flight with the A42. Well, it's not the fault of course, but yeah, the cows. The A42. But the point is that I have it in La Belgique, in Belgium at the moment. I have it here. So we can go to Dijon for example, then I don't know, Avignon, and do a cross here into Alps. But yeah, I guess before we're gonna go with a 339er military to enjoy a bit the area. This is super cool. Wow. Incredibly good Alps here. I never saw mountain as good as I'm seeing here. I can't imagine being down there. This is extremely accurate. Yeah, of course, this is not completely loaded, but if you check below us, exactly below us, that's incredible. Okay. We can definitely have some fun. Alright, but right now, keep going this heading. This one there that I'm seeing in front of you, sorry, in front of me, I'm referring to this peak. It should be Ventoux, or Ventoux, I don't know how to pronounce Francais, which is basically windy mountain and is visible from Avignon. So yeah, we're getting there. We are getting there. Again, I don't know if Avignon VR is working. I have, of course, Navigraph below me, so in case when we are over, we know that it's not. Okay. And also, since it's, if it's not working, we will not have any reference to descend properly, which is very interesting. Of course, with a plane like this, you can just descend 10,000 feet per minute. You don't really care, which I don't really want to do today, to be honest. I would like to descend in a more realistic weight. Not saying I'm gonna descend 1,000 feet per minute at all, of course, but yeah, I don't know. 2,500, 3,000. Kind of trying to maintain some logic in our descent. But yeah, we will see in the next minutes if we got any signal from Avignon VR. We should have. It's on Navigraph. I don't see the point. We have Navigraph data on the sim. We lose a bit of altitude, by the way. So yeah, I don't see the reason to not be working, to be honest. Okay. I don't see any reason. Wow. The quality of Alps here is incredible. I really want to go down there one day. Either with a small plane to do a cross Alps or with a military plane like this. Super funny. I really suggest you to do this kind of flight sometime. You can do it like once. 2 free flights per year, but just to refreshing VR procedure, VR navigation. Manual flight, look at this, wow. Let me take this screenshot. Let's do the social guys. Who is this? Let's post. Nice. We have to go back to the plane, otherwise I'm pretty sure he's doing crazy stuff. Oh no. Yeah, we lose a lot of altitude. We are 30750. We have to be 3100. Still not receiving any signal. Yeah, this is the windy mountain. I'm not gonna pronounce it in French, but whatever. Of Provence. I don't even know if it's Provence or des Alpes there. But whatever. Look at this. Ooh boy. Okay. So we are definitely pretty close to Avignon at this point. We are yeah, we are outbound for sure. I just saw it. Not too much as before. Not as much as before. But yeah, I'm gonna continue in this heading for the moment. So, what we learned today is that this is not acceptable on VATSIM. The SimBrief scheduling is completely wrong. We are not receiving the expected VOR at the assigned altitude. So what you can do is lower the altitude by a lot, like schedule at 10,000 feet, for example, even if you're, on the SimBrief planner, of course. Even if you're gonna fly 30,000 feet, like this. Let's see, 10,000 feet. So it's gonna add VOR. It's just a couple actually. Yeah. This is not gonna work either, to be honest. From Tessera, no, this is not gonna work. As we experienced today. Oh, we're receiving the VR. Oh, nice. Let's go immediately inbound. 56 miles. In this case, we can start descending. Lowering power. Let the plane go down. Okay. All right. Let's go. Let's descend. Meter. 1021. Okay, okay, nice. Come on. Open me. Okay. 1021. 1021. I need some information. As always, if you have any question, feel free to ask. Avignon, Avignon, Avignon. Avignon. No. I'm using Navigraph if you're wondering what I'm doing. I need elevation. Elevation is 124. I could have checked just on SkyVector, but yeah, I'm gonna need also runway direction. So we're gonna land runway 35. So 1735. Keep in mind that elevation 124. And the runway length is 1,880 meter. So what we're gonna do is, of course, reduce power a little bit, and we're gonna do a traffic pattern around 2,000 feet, and then correct. Reader briefing of the plane. So downwind reducing 175 knots, flaps 1, entering base, reducing speed 150 knots, and from there we're gonna do a visual approach, that's obvious, but from there we are gonna reduce speed at 120 knots, maybe a little bit more. I don't know how heavy we are at this point. We burn some fuel, but not too much. I think we're still quite heavy. So yeah, around 120 knots, something like that. Runway is short, So even if we have a low approach, it's completely fine. Yeah, touchdown, flaps up immediately. That's the plan. Okay, we are very high. I really want to go down now. Yeah, I want to go down around 3,000 feet per minute. At this point, we are very, very high. This is Le Mans Ventoux. And now here the terrain, as you can see, is way less good in quality compared to overups. Okay, 2,500. I like this rate of descent now. Alright. We are almost there. 3,000 feet per... No, it's not really 3,000. We can reduce a little bit more. Okay, let's just follow the straight direction to the VR at this point. The location of the airport is actually a little bit different. It's like 9 miles from the VR, but we're gonna have it inside. Will still be sunny. I mean, sun is pretty high. Okay. We are very extremely high again. I'm gonna start descending quite sharply pretty soon. You know that with this plane we can do it. Because I guess probably the airport is... okay, this is the river. The city should be here. Or there. We're in a straight line, yeah. 2,000 feet per minute is not acceptable. Reducing power. We'll see, but yeah. So the city should be... oh, it's there. It's right here. So if the city is here, the airport should be somewhere there. Yeah, I know the areas, that's why. Wow, the plane doesn't want to descend at all. Reducing power by a lot. Look at this. What a beauty. What a beauty. See an external view. Wow. And we drop our photo on Volante. Okay. Oh, what the fuck? The plane idle. Let's see if we descend now. I mean, probably not. I mean, I'm in idle. Wow. You really want to stay airborne, this plane? I'm trying to spotting the airport. Okay. I don't know if I have the custom scenery installed on 2024. Is it that? Yeah. Yeah. I see the runway. We are extremely high. Okay, at this point, let's go to standby here. We don't need VR anymore. Airport in sight. Let's start showing how this plane can go down. Alright, 4,000 feet per minute. Manual flight. I mean, we did all the flight in manual flight, actually. But yeah, let's start to doing some crazy descent. We're gonna get quite some speed now. This is Avignon. I can let go the the flight control. This is Avignon. I'm in idle. Yeah, unfortunately not having the signal of the VOR didn't really help. But yeah, I mean, we can recover, of course. Again, this is a plane that can really go down faster than the usual. If it's the case, is today. That's the runway. I think we're gonna have to do some, yeah, some orbital. I don't know if it's called in like that in English, but I don't want also to be too low when I enter downwind. So let's do definitely one here. Oh no, let the plane go down. It looks like we are steady, we are going more than 250 knots. This is Orange Airport. Yeah. So at this point we don't care about VOR anymore. Of course. Okay. Let's go in a sharper turn. Stuff that you can do only with these planes here. Okay. We should see the airport is right there in front of us. Okay, let's extend a little bit. Like that. That's the city of Avignon. Alright. 8,000 feet. We are very, very high still. Runway is there. At this point, speed brake. There you can see speed brake out. Let's slow down the plane. We are too fast and too high. Okay. So it's 117 downwind and 350 on final. Okay, now we are basically... Okay, let's enter a downwind. I would like to be at 2,000 feet, around 2,000 feet, maybe a little higher as well. Very fast. We are really going down 6,000 feet per minute, but it's fine. I mean, it's a 339er. We don't really have any limitation. We can go down vertical, so. Okay. Speed braking. There we have the runway. It's a very short runway, 1,900 meter. Okay, let's level off. We are aiming now to reach 1,075 knots of speed. There we have the airport. I don't think I have the custom, or maybe I do. Yeah, I do have the custom on this. Oh, we don't want to lose altitude. Let's focus on what we are doing. This heading is fine, 170. Slow down. Let's extend our downwind a little bit. Okay, 180 knots. $175 flaps takeoff. Set. Okay, slow down 150. Completely fine. Is the gear down warning. On the turn. Okay. Let's turn on final. Adding power a little bit. Okay, run inside. Alright, we are fine in the altitude. Don't drop the plane. Trim up. Okay. Okay. Speed check. Gear down. Okay, gear is down. We are ready with flaps full when we need. I love the train. Speed check, flaps full. Okay, flaps full set. Ooh, no. 120 knots we want now. Okay. If we are long, the approach is fine. It's a short runway. Okay, over the field, idle. Slight flare. Touchdown, flaps. Up immediately and braking. Wow. That was really cool. There we are. Doesn't really look like custom. No, I don't. Wait a sec. No. We don't even have the taxiway. I mean, it's, yeah, it's custom. Actually, should I park here on there? Yeah, let's go on the main. I completely forgot landing lights. Nice, but whatever. Too late. Okay. Yeah, that's completely fine. I mean, you know, military plane can land really, really hard. That is definitely a hard landing, but yeah, not even extremely hard for a plane. I mean, the gear of this plane is extremely solid. Look at this monster with all the auxiliary fuel tank. Oh, the feeling, by the way, is incredible. Don't look at that, this is part of the scenery. I'm gonna park, yeah, I guess I'm gonna park close to it. Okay. So yeah, next one. Idle. Yes, we are. Accelerate off. And nice. We have a nice 339er close to an executive jet. Pretty interesting situation. Okay. Parking brake set. Checklist. This is all done. After landing, trim. Neutral is not neutral at all. Let's set it. The trim is here, by the way. flaps should be down, right? And on the shut off. Pitot off, shut down, flaps down, and speed brake out as well. Look at this. Speed brake out, and flaps down. Okay. And throttle stop. Radio off. No, this is not the radio. Okay. This can goes off, 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 off. GPS off. This can go. Wow, it's not. Okay, interesting. Beacon off. All right. Here we are. Yeah, another big problem on BATSIM, I was thinking about that, is your squawk code. I guess if you set it something like that, I mean, yeah, but whatever. Okay. Unlock this, open the canopy, generator, battery off, outside of the plane. Outside, that's what the fuck I've said. All right, and there we have our 339er. Feel the wind. Yeah, of course, we had also a lot of wind today, so, you know, it's definitely harder to do a smooth landing with a lot of headwind. But, yeah, that was really cool. I mean, VR to VR flight with this plane, all manual flight, no autopilot. Yeah, very, very, very cool stuff. Was a plane transfer? Yeah. Oh, look at what I have here. Another VR to VR monster. Okay. So this is it for today. Was really, really cool for me. Probably little technical stuff. I mean, a lot of VR consideration, of course. So this week I want definitely, I mean, we saw that incredibly good area of Alps here. Wow, that was really, really great. So yeah, I want to bring back toward Alps my Diamond. But yeah, it's gonna take quite a lot to do it. Don't know. But yeah, probably I want to bring it around Avignon in the next weeks. And then do Avignon to Cuneo, Avignon to Milano Linate, something like that with the DA42 from Chaos. Yeah, just to see this area with a nice low flight. Okay. This is also because, I mean, makes a lot of sense flying low in 2024. Since you have this cloud stuff, I mean, with a liner, you will not enjoy. I mean, you would not enjoy it all because it's not gonna be loaded. But yeah, whatever. So this is it for today. I wish you a nice evening, and see you next